What is the outlook for Sri Lanka after its debt relief was negotiated? And so where do you stand now on the ideas of debt?
No, I must say we have performed well so far. And for the first time, we've got positive growth. I would expect about 2% growth this year and maybe on to about 4 or 5 next year. But as I mentioned, the main issue we have is how do you repay this? Because we've had a balance of payment issue. And secondly, we have a question of budgetary issues also. Revenue is not enough for the expenditure. On the revenue side, we worked with IMF. We are increasing revenue. And as growth comes in, there should be more revenue. We are also revamping our total revenue collection systems. And we want to have a revenue authority replacing the individual departments. Far as balance of payments is concerned, is how we attract new investments and what are the areas. At the short term, we have looked at tourism, agriculture modernization, which will also lead to exports, and renewable energy. We have a fair amount of solar and wind power far beyond our needs. How do you utilize it at the moment when there's a demand? And we are also going to sell part of it to India. But you have a bigger problem here. One is populism. You have the expectations of the people that have to be met, whether it's United States or whether it's Lesotho. And most of us are living beyond our means, if you look at it in the conventional way. Then your bond markets, others are at the moment have to operate on the conventional rules. Now, how do you have these two together? If you are going to apply the strict rules, all governments will collapse. So there's demand. You want housing, you want education, you have health, and this is not enough. So this is why, in my view, you have got to sit down and take a view on this. How are we going to do it? Otherwise, this issue will go on. Your government must, at the end of the day, provide minimum facility that's expected. Then in all our areas, all of a sudden, they want electricity into the village. They want roads into the village. We have to give water. So how do you Sri Lanka has done that over a period of time. I mean, it's not so bad for us. We got into this problem because we took the loans on non-tradable goods. No way of paying back, but all our villagers today have paved roads. We have better buildings in schools. At the end of it, I can still say that part of it will help us for social development. But you have to resolve these issues. Sri Lanka, we can manage it. It's a question I think, of Africa, you could say most. And Africa needs that money. They need the money.
About revenue collection, talking about taxes on households and businesses. You have an IMF, schema. Do you think this will breed any seeds of resentment among Sri Lankan populations later on, or you think the country?
We've already had foreign investments. It's nothing new. Basically, from the time the Dutch came, they were investing. Then the British invested. Now we are investing. We were others. So in any case, we can live with foreign investment, and people are expecting foreign investment. So it's an open society. That's not a major issue for us. We think we want to make it on our own, but we don't want to add any more burdens. But I am for debt relief for Africa. Just because we can handle it doesn't mean that African countries can handle it. We are for debt relief for Africa.
AdaDerana YouTube නාලිකාව YouTube AdaDerana දැන්ම subscribe කරන්න.